Coming to you live from Ursprung Gymnasium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. Welcome to our coverage of the Ohio Athletic Conference on BWYellowJackets.com. I'm Brendan Gulick alongside Ryan Swingle. We've got a good game today. It's the second half of conference play getting underway as the Fighting Muskies from Muskingum University are in town. The second time this season they'll play the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets. And Ryan, the first game did not start well for BW, but they still won the game by 17 points.
Yeah, BW trailing pretty much the entire first half as well as good part of the third quarter. Ended up really pulling away in that second half, though, coming out with the victory. Obviously coming in tonight, don't want to start off that way. Want to play a little better out of the gate, get into attack mode early, and hopefully put it away early for the Yellow Jackets.
BW only scored 4 points in that opening period in their first meeting. 1 of 13 shooting the basketball. Definitely need to get off to a better start here at home, even though the second half was explosive for BW in that one. Let's start with the Muskies, who are a far better team this year than they've been in years past. First 9 games, they are above 500 by 1 in the first half of the conference.
Yeah, Muskingum coming in as a middle-of-the-pack team in the conference, you could say, right below that top tier of teams in the OAC. BW making a run for another great season here, possibly pushing ONU and Mount Union as well for a conference championship this year. So it should be a good matchup. 2 really good schools coming in for a great game today.
The 3 losses at the top of the conference, not surprising for Muskingum, losing to Ohio Northern, Wilmington, and BW. The one surprise loss for them so far came at Heidelberg, though they're coming off of their best offensive game of the year with a win at Mount Union. On the BW side of things, a great start, one of the best starts in over a decade for BW with 11 straight wins. Then they dropped 3 in a row and have now won 2 straight, so things start to maybe kind of even out for BW at this point.
Starting to get back on track for the Yellow Jackets here. Obviously, as you mentioned, that 3-game skid was not what they're looking for to sort of close out that the beginning part of conference play. But as we get to the second half of play in the conference, BW come back with 2 straight wins. Starting off still a little slow in those past 2 games, but they have managed to pull out wins against John Carroll this previous game, and looking to get another one here against Muskingum today.
Riley Schill had a career-high 16 in the early season game at Muskingum. She came off the bench in that one and will do so again here this afternoon. Plenty more to preview, but we'll touch base with head coach Sherry Harrer when we come back. It's the Yellow Jackets and the Fighting Muskies next on BWYellowJackets.com. The Yellow Jackets and Fighting Muskies ready for round 2 here in the 2017 season. And so we sit down with head coach Sherry Harrer before the start of today's game. And Sherry, it's the first time you get a chance to see an opponent in the league for the second time. Hard to believe that the league schedule is now halfway over, but some adjustments that need to be made against some teams. You had some really good, high-feeling points at other points this season so far, too. Let's focus on Muskingum, a team that the first quarter you went out there when you were down in New Concord, you only had 1 field goal on 13 tries, and yet you stayed in the game, and the second half just exploded. How did you see it?
We just couldn't buy a bucket in that first quarter, and we didn't defensively do the things that we normally do. They still had us down double figures in the third, so they could shoot it. They could really shoot, and luckily last time we did a pretty good job defending the 3, and we're going to have to do that again, but we were lucky to get out of there with a win last time. Hopefully we perform a little better this time.
A lot of coaches will have one opinion or another, and there doesn't seem to be much middle ground in this regard. When you play a team for a second or a third time, some coaches say, well, we really want to adjust to what they did and try to be better at it. And some coaches say, forget about it. We just need to do what we do better and forget what they do. Where do you stand?
Well, I think it depends on the opponent a little bit too. In this one, we really feel we just need to do what we do better.
Is that more from an offensive perspective or a defensive perspective,
Both.
or the whole thing?
Both.
Through?
I think we've amped up our defense a little bit with some ball pressure in the last few games, and we need to continue to build on that. We need to continue to try to rebound better, which we've done lately. And offensively, just the things we work on every day in practice.
We talked post-game after last Wednesday's win about good teams finding ways to win when they're not at their best. And I thought Wednesday was probably a good example of that against John Carroll. Did that get brought up at all in practice this week?
No, not really. We continue to focus on our main three things. We're playing hard, we're playing smart, we're playing together. And that's what we're trying to do. And we feel if we do that, we have a pretty good chance to win.
Now that the season is really kind of in the swing of things, what in terms of one player in particular, is there someone who's been a big surprise to you, someone who maybe you just didn't expect that was going to have the kind of contributions that she's had this year?
Casey Hughes has been more solid than we probably expected. After that, we think that most people are doing about what we'd hoped they would do.
It's nice to see that that's the case, and you've got a winning record in conference. I know it's tough to beat a team twice. I think just about anybody would tell you that when you get out there and it's competitive, especially in a conference like this, that it can be challenging to play a team a second time. Were there little points of emphasis going into this game, or was it just generally focused on trying to keep doing the little things you've done right?
Well, obviously we have to stop their threes. Got to. They live and die by the three, and they've been living a lot by the three, and we've got to stop their threes. Other than that, pretty much what we do.
Muskingum, a team this year at 5-4 in conference. They've lost to Ohio Northern, Wilmington, your team, and their one surprise loss was to Heidelberg. A team in Heidelberg that you saw, and they were pretty competitive. They just haven't had a lot of success this season. Did you learn something about the way they played against Heidelberg, or did you not have a chance to
No,
look
it was
at that
more,
team?
I think, Taylor, number 2, got in trouble for them, got in foul trouble, and didn't play very much, and that's what enabled Heidelberg to beat them.
Okay. On the defensive side, you mentioned wanting to stop their threes. How about an offensive key to the game for you?
We got to move the ball. We got to be able to attack. I think we're a little more athletic, so we need to be able to use that athleticism and attack, and hopefully the officiating is such that they're calling the fouls. We want to be in attack mode. We want to run.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
More pregame after this on BWYellowJackets.com. Baldwin Wallace University hosting Muskingum University this afternoon in a doubleheader, with the ladies getting ready for a 2 o'clock tip at Ursprung Gymnasium. Brendan Gulick and Ryan Swingle with you. Let's give you the starting lineups this afternoon, and we'll start with the Yellow Jackets. At guard, a freshman from Springboro, Casey Hughes. At forward, a senior from Parma, Sydney Clark. Hannah Feck, the sophomore guard, makes her second consecutive start. Senior guard Mckenzie Colombo, the leader of this team, is starting for the 17th time this year, as is Clara Lemon, a senior forward from Canton. Sherry Harrer in her 27th season, assisted by Cody Hartzler and Cassie Seth. Hughes, Clark, Fecht, Colombo, and Lemon for the Jackets. For the 9-7 Muskingum Fighting Muskies, who are 5-4 in conference and just one game back of BW in the OAC standings. At forward, the team's leading scorer and rebounder, senior Mallory Taylor. At guard, a junior from Lower City, Ohio, Caitlin Smith. Olivia Besanson, the junior guard from Smithville, makes the start. Alexandra Carson has played well. This is her 16th start of the season, junior from Fayetteville. And Stephanie Clark, the junior forward from Hamilton-Baden High School. She's making her 14th start of the season. Head coach of Muskingum is Beth Fox, and her assistant is Josh Rohrbacher. Taylor, Smith, Besanson, Carson, and Clark for Muskingum. Muskies are in black and red, and the Yellow Jackets in yellow and brown with white numbers and letters. Our officials today, Joe Humston, Mike Pasak, and John Whitson. We mentioned early in the beginning of our pregame show that the Jackets are going to try to attack the basketball early and often today, which is a little surprising because of what they've done throughout the course of the season from behind the three-point line.
Yeah, definitely a little switch up of their normal game plan going into today's game, but Muskingum comes in as one of the top defensive three-point teams in the country, so they're going to want to look to attack the basketball as well as taking care of the basketball throughout the entire game.
Certainly feels like much of what they want in their game plan is dictated by Muskingum's defensive ability. As we get rolling, Mallory Taylor's trying to get going, and she misses from not too far away from the basket. The Yellow Jackets were +9 on the glass when they played Muskingum back in December, and Clara Lemon dribbles one off her foot, goes out of bounds. Baldwin Wallace got off to an 11-0 start, the best start since the 04-05 campaign, and they lost 3 in a row to Wilmington, Mount Union, and Ohio Northern, but have rebounded with back-to-back wins over Otterbein and John Carroll. A traveling violation called on Besanson as she was going down the right lane, so it goes back to Baldwin Wallace. In their last game, Muskingum snapped a 3-game losing streak of their own with a nice win against Mount Union. Game they scored 88 points, matching their season best. Clark wide open, and she buries an early three.
Yeah, Clark, one of the better three-point shooters for the Yellow Jackets. With that one, she should be right around 40% on the year, and that makes 3 Yellow Jackets.
BW top 20 in the country in three-pointers made per game, and three-point shooting percentage. It's a dangerous three-point team as Besanson gets her first bucket and makes it a 3-2 affair. Muskingum, though, has shot almost 100 three-pointers more than Baldwin Wallace this year. Clark keeps it alive on the offensive end. 453s in their first 16 games. That's 28 a game. Clark misfires from deep, but Lemon grabs another rebound. A third opportunity. Colombo, the fake and drive, dish away. Fecht is open, and one of the hottest shooters in America puts one home for a 6-2 Yellow Jacket lead.
Interesting, they wanted to get on attack mode, but their first 2 buckets have been from three-point range, but they've both been wide open quality shots.
I'm just going to say, at least they were good looks, as Stephanie Clark missed from right next to the hoop. Fecht in her second straight start is hoping to be out there a little longer today as she drives and has 5 points. And Fecht picked up 2 fouls in the first 2.5 minutes on Wednesday and basically didn't play the entire rest of the first half and beginning of the second half. Another Muskingum turnover, and this game is not starting well for the Fighting Muskies. Here comes Dana Parkman. Parkman, a decent spark plug off the bench. Averaging 7 points and 5 rebounds a game from her guard spot. Clark on the right side. Casey Hughes flashing in the paint. BW an early advantage. Lemon gives away with 10 to shoot. Clark tried to dump it underneath, and I think she caught Clara Lemon off guard. Almost looked like she was going in shot.
Yeah.
And she zinged one right over Lemon's head.
Lemon looking to get some nice box out position to get that offensive rebound, but not on the same page there by two Yellow Jackets.
Second of 4 games in a row at home for BW, and they'll go back offensively after a foul on Caitlin Smith. Her first and team first. Jackets by 6. The only basket in the early going belongs to Besançon for Muskingum. Effect wants a 3-ball, and she got another one. Colombo gave it up, and Effect with her second shot from beyond the perimeter. Baldwin Wallace leads the game 11-2.
3 early 3-pointers for the Yellow Jackets. Nice hot start for them, just like they wanted to get off to.
2 of them belong to Hannah Effect. Hannah almost got her hands on that one. Instead, Taylor thrusts one up, and she got fouled. It goes on Effect, and that's her first. And the first foul on Baldwin Wallace this afternoon. Again, a reminder that this is a doubleheader because Muskingum hosted BW in twin bill fashion. Taylor hits the first. Katie Smith, Riley Schill both coming in for Hughes and Effect, and get a substitution on the Muskingum side as well. Let's see, Parkman is still in the low post. Haley Stocker just checked into the game. It's 11-4. It stays on this half. Again, Muskingum hosted BW in a doubleheader back on the 10th of December. It was because BW needed the gymnasium here on campus for graduation. Colombo wanted to attack, and she just lost control of the basketball. Besançon slid her feet nicely down the right side of the paint.
Those are the kind of possessions that BW is going to want to get back to, really taking it hard to the hole. Fortunately, couldn't come up with one on that possession, but look for them to continue that style of play as we go forward.
Already 6 combined turnovers in the first almost 4 minutes. Lemon really suffocating Taylor in the corner. Stocker came out to the ball. Still 12 on the timer as Taylor circles around, steps back, and missed it long. Clara Lemon clears it away. Sydney Clark hit the first 3-ball of the game. Colombo's crossover becomes a pass to Katie Smith for a triple. Too long. Parkman clears it. With her eyes up the floor, Parkman throws to the left corner. Besançon denied the baseline. Parkman in the low post gives it free. Smith forced it and missed the runner. And Katie Smith comes away with the rebound. Already a much better start today for BW after they hit only 1 of 13 at Muskingum to start that game and scored 4 first-quarter points. Colombo's 3 from the corner misfired. Parkman with an athletic move under the basket to keep that one from going out of bounds. Stocker needs some help. Taylor steps into a triple and puts it in. First 3-ball for Muskingum. They've hit 2 out of 6 shots, hanging in there down 4. That's 5 for the senior Mallory Taylor.
Yeah, surprisingly for Muskingum, one of the leading 3-point takers as Lemon gets a shot block there. First 3 of the night for the Fighting Muskies.
Hallie Stocker, the junior guard from Cambridge, with a nice rejection. Colombo and Lemon leave as Tiffany Bettler and Rachel Wommeldorf both check in. So Sydney Clark, the only starter still out there, and Kara Marshall is making her way to the scorer's table. Good active hands by Alexandra Carson. It's deflected away. And now Marshall comes in for Sydney Clark.
Yeah, this younger second unit is more of a guard-heavy rotation, but some 3-point opportunities as well as some nice athletic guards out there get to the hole as Schill does right here.
Riley Schill, beautiful, explosive move. Again, she had a career-high 16 at Muskingum back on December 10th. And as soon as she gets into the game, she gets into the scoring column.
Carson down Main Street. And missed it. Baldwin Wallace attacking. Katie Smith dished off last second. Wommeldorf, rather than banking it home, tried to go over the front of the rim. And after her miss, she commits a foul.
Nice initial move there by Wommeldorf, but couldn't quite finish it. Not exactly the best angle to take that shot at. Would have liked to see her put it off the glass there.
She almost looked off balance as she kind of faded to her right. Hopefully she'll learn from it. Parkman running the point, circling around. That was very well defended. Kara Marshall couldn't have done much better, but Parkman just muscled it in there.
Yeah, went right up and threw her. Nice lay in there by Parkman.
So it's a 4-point game in the late first quarter. Baldwin Wallace knows how hard it is to beat a team twice in one regular season as Wommeldorf's baseline jumper is off the mark. Muskingum is hoping for better fortune the second time around. They really need a quality win. Muskingum's been kind of that team this year that has beaten who they should and probably fallen short in games they weren't favored to win. But still a better year as Wommeldorf is the third Yellow Jacket to touch it on the way up the floor, and Rachel Wommeldorf has her first basket.
BW really getting a lot of quality looks, even though they have had a few misses here to start off the first quarter. Really getting the looks they want to, so that bodes well for the Yellow Jackets going forward.
Looks like Kara Marshall will get whistled for her first foul near the top of the key. 15-9 Baldwin Wallace. Good balance in the early going, but Hannah Fecht is the game's leading scorer with a couple of threes. And she's going to check back in. She's got 8 points early on.
She does have that one early foul, though, so that is something to keep an eye on as we go forward here for this first half.
It's Schill, Wommeldorf, Smith, Fecht, and Bettler out there for the ladies in goal. Little sidestep move, and Carson scores. Four-point effort. Carson has her first basket. From the right side, Bettler, too short. Not a bad look.
Yeah, nice play there. Get her off the feet and drive right by her for a nice mid-range jump shot. Couldn't convert.
That's the fifth Muskingum giveaway as Parkman has to go back defensively. The Sanson checks back in along with Caitlin Smith, sending Shelby Moses and Dana Parkman back over to the bench. Schill and Smith check out as Colombo and Hughes rejoin things on the floor. Colombo had a wide open lane and she just went right to the rim with it.
Went nicely to the left there. Nice finish there by Colombo.
17-11 as Mckenzie gets her first basket. That three took a long time to get out of Carson's hand, and she still didn't capitalize. At the rim, two more for Casey Hughes, and BW has their largest lead of the game. For the second time, it's an 8-point edge.
Casey Hughes not one of the leading scorers for the Yellow Jackets this year, but when she does get to the hole, she can be a very effective player for the Yellow Jackets.
Tiffany Bentler commits her first personal. Actually, I beg your pardon, the largest lead of the game is 9 points when BW was up 11-2. But still, it's a comfortable cushion early on. Morgan Gossett, Stephanie Clark both check out. Hallie Stocker returning. Besanson's inbounds pass is deflected back away. Mallory Taylor couldn't bring it in. Taylor behind the three-point stripe with less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Colombo got her paws on it for just a moment. Fed into the paint. Nice spin move, and Stocker scores.
Nice move there by Stocker on the post. Getting Fecht to go to the left and
Hughes fakes left, drives right, uncontested. That won't make Beth Fox happy. Way too easy for the freshman point guard. Stocker with a pump fake. They work it underneath. And Taylor, she had nobody in front of her. Threw it way too high off the glass. Well, BW is driving to the basket.
Yeah.
But they also have attempted 7 threes in the first quarter. and one. Clara Lemon going to the stripe. And BW's having their way early in this one.
Them have pretty much been quality looks. It's not like they're forcing up early shot clock threes or desperation heaves at the end of the shot clock. They're really getting the shots that they want here in the early going of this game.
Lemon with a chance to make it an 11-point lead. The last 3 quarters that BW's played against Muskingum, Lemon's free throw misses. So that's the 3rd and 4th quarter of game 1 and the 1st quarter here today. They've scored at least 23 points in all 3 of those quarters. Long 3 from Carson, off the mark to the right. Carson chucks them up with lots of frequency. She hasn't hit yet. Three different Muskies have attempted 93 pointers in the first now 17 games. They are not afraid to let it go. Hughes back to Clark. Good crisp pass. Right back to the freshman. Beautiful spin move as she got Besançon on the hip she wanted. Spun away from her, and the Jackets lead the game by a dozen.
Casey Hughes definitely taking advantage of the mismatch against Besançon. A little more athletic, possibly even a little stronger for her size than Besançon. Really doing a good job here in the first quarter by Casey Hughes.
Sydney Clark defending Stocker as well as she can. Taylor with a second chance opportunity. Just a couple seconds left. Hughes gets the layup off, but it doesn't go. And obviously the tip back won't count. All right, so it's 25-15 BW at the end of 1 quarter. The Jackets connecting on 11 of 19 first quarter shots, and they definitely got the looks they wanted close to the hoop. BW basketball returns after this timeout on BWYellowJackets.com. After a great first quarter for Baldwin Wallace, they've got a 10-point cushion as they start the second frame here this afternoon. BW with a nice season so far, 13-3, but they've got their sights set on much more than just that. This is a team that wants to make its 14th NCAA tournament appearance, and they're looking for an OAC crown for the 9th time during the regular season. They've won 6 tournament championships. Colombo misses near the rim, but Lemon with another offensive rebound. She's been great so far. That's her 4th board and 2nd on the offensive glass. Good pass to a cutting Sydney Clark for 2 more.
They're really getting some good looks from Clark and Hughes on those cuts right to the middle of the paint. Nice feeds from Colombo. Really getting the offense going here.
Shelby Moses bobbles it. Keeps possession. Wow, nice play. This is Stocker at the top of the key, measures way off the mark. There are not many teams in Division III that shoot more 3 balls than Muskingum, but they don't necessarily have a very good shooting percentage for the number of threes they put up. Top 10 in the country in 3-pointers attempted, but they are middle of the pack of the 440 teams that play D3 ball in terms of field goal percentage from beyond the 3-point line. 5 on the ticker. Lemon has to hurry, and it bricks a little long. BW by a dozen in the early second quarter. Stocker feeds Mallory Taylor, a senior who's helped turn this Muskingum program around, but Besançon missed from underneath. Hughes finds Smith pushing it. Love the pace and the energy with which BW is playing today. Colombo just outside the stripe. to Katie Smith. Oh, Clara Lemon had a great look. She just couldn't get it to finish. Muskingum the other way as Carson goes up the floor. Well, these two teams played last time, as that one is turned over by Muskingum, their 6th giveaway. There were 125 shots in 40 minutes. I mean, you want to talk about a game that was played at just a furious pace. And yet BW today with the idea that they want to continue to do that.
Yeah. With that being said, it's not so much that they want to get these shots off within the first 10 seconds of the shot clock, though. They are getting good offensive sets, but they do want to attack the hole early and often.
Smith, Fecht, now Riley Schill with Wommeldorf and Casey Hughes out there for BW. Well, good active hands defensively. Hughes recovers after her own mistake. Wommeldorf's baseline shot, too short. Moses clears it for Muskingum. Well, not a bad idea from Carson, but she dribbled it off her heel. Parkman recovers. Still plenty of time on this possession for the Muskies. Carson beat Hughes off the dribble. And Hughes blocked the shot. The Yellow Jackets quickly the other way. And Fecht out of control. And she got fouled in the paint. Muskingum bailed her out.
Really a great defensive possession on the last Muskingum possession for the Yellow Jackets on the defensive end. Nice block by Casey Hughes, getting the ball the other way.
Here comes Mckenzie Matthews for the first time, as well as Tiffany Bentler. Hughes and Smith will both sit down. Mckenzie Matthews, the sophomore guard from North Royalton. She's played a little bit this year, not a ton, but it's her 13th game, averaging about 6 minutes per contest. Dead on 3 ball, off to the short right side. Bentler had a good look. Only 2 points scored in this second quarter so far. And after that airballed 3, it stays that way.
That's just one of those early shot clock opportunities that you just don't want to take if you're the Muskingum Muskies. Not a good shot. It's really not good basketball.
After a pair of high screens, Schill gave it over to Matthews. Underneath to Clara Lemon, and one!
Wommeldorf there on the and one opportunity.
I beg your pardon, Rachel Wommeldorf. And it's her first opportunity to shoot free throws today after her first basket. She makes it a game-high 15-point lead, 30-15. Wommeldorf has 5. And Fecht still leads all scorers with 8, but she hasn't scored in now more than 10 minutes. That was not a good look from Stephanie Clark. She had a good spot in the paint, but she threw one wildly off the backboard, and BW draws another foul.
Yeah, Clark created some space with her body on that one, but just an errant shot off the backboard. Not a very good opportunity there.
She's got a good frame at 6'2", and you can tell she isn't afraid to be too physical. But her shots so far today, the selection's been fine. The execution is where she struggled. Matthews to Fecht. Anna gives it a free. Ball rotation back down to Wommeldorf. It's blocked. Clark got her paws on it. 15-point lead for Baldwin Wallace. Muskingum has gone ice cold from the floor. Parkman gives it away. Gossett on the step back. It's a 2-pointer, and that one grazed the rafters on the way down.
Rainbow shot there.
Baldwin Wallace still with a comfortable edge. A lot of looks into the low post. It's the first time Wommeldorf has grabbed one on a pass into the high part of the key. Half the second quarter has expired as Bentler airballs one from the right corner, and Wommeldorf commits her second personal.
Bentler's had 2 of those shots where she gets the defender off her feet and goes about mid-range and just can't quite hit it tonight.
Teams, as we've got lots of different substitutions. Colombo, Clark, Matthews, Lemon, and Bentler. It's an interesting group for BW. Stocker, the inbounder, gave it away to Carson, who brought it up the floor. Taylor, Parkman, and DeSanson rounded out. 2 shots coming for Mallory Taylor.
Yeah, so sort of an interesting mix of the first and second unit for the Yellow Jackets, but 2 more subs will come on. Looks like we'll get more of a starting lineup back out there.
First foul on Clara Lemon. That's the second foul on BW in the second quarter. Eight points for Taylor. She's getting hers, but nobody else is really helping her out. Nobody else on Muskingum has more than 2 points. Taylor's free throws give her 9.
Yeah, really been a one-man show here for the Muskies.
Katie Smith with a turnover for BW. That's their 4th. Unfortunately for Muskingum, they have not scored any points off the first 3 giveaways.
And BW, on the other hand, is they're looking to possibly get one here. They've forced 7 and gotten 10 points, so really a stat to watch there.
BW's been active defensively and has killed most of this possession. 7 on the clock. 3 to shoot. Blocked by Lemon. Taylor just thought she had to force it up. Katie Smith was open for a split second. Sydney Clark could not be more open, and she makes it count. 33-19, Baldwin Wallace. 8 points for the senior from Lake Ridge Academy. Cross-court pass. Parkman measures a 3. It missed too short. Muskingum 1 of 5 from distance. And they've only hit 7 of 22 shots so far.
Muskingum not really taking as many shots as we're accustomed to from 3-point range, but still not shooting a very good percentage.
BW's using some more clock here as Colombo gets fouled. It goes on Besançon. Her first, team 4. Gossett returns. Allie Stocker has a seat. And a late substitution for BW brings Clara Lemon back into the game.
I think she just had a little
I beg your
issue.
pardon.
Yeah.
Sorry,
she handed some to the
away
coach.
for a minute.
Wasn't sure exactly what went on there, but
Colombo left of center. Back to the right side, Katie Smith. Ten seconds on the shot clock. Colombo flashed to the paint. Deflected off of a Muskie out of bounds with 8 left on the clock. BW is capitalizing off of Muskingum's mistakes, and they've got a 14-point lead. Colombo, the senior, trying to make something happen. She gives back to Lemon, who had to and hit it.
Lemon's not a bad mid-range 3-point shooter. Obviously, she's more of a post-up kind of player, but she can hit those shots from mid-range and occasionally hit a 3.
Easily the girl with the biggest smile on the team. Besançon gives free to Parkman. Dana Parkman fouled. It's on Hughes. Casey Hughes commits her first. Good balance for BW so far. Really like the way that everybody's gotten involved.
Really that depth of BW on display here as first free throw is good for Parkman. You know, you got 2 players with 8, a couple with 4, 5, and 6, and really spreading the love around in the scoring column.
Parkman hits them both. And Beth Fox wants a 30-second timeout. We'll take it with her. It's 35-21. Baldwin Wallace leads by 14 late first half on BWYellowJackets.com. Yellow Jackets out of the Muskingum timeout, trying to close the first half with a nice run. BW had a 10-point lead after one. It's ballooned to 14 at this point. Colombo drives on Parkman, who just gave up on the play. Colombo lost that one out of bounds.
Schill coming back on the floor now as looks like Colombo will check out for the Yellow Jackets.
Riley Schill's played well off the bench so far. A couple of points in a handful of minutes. Katie Smith working the high post after Clark's screen. It's back to Hughes in the left corner. Hughes slivers through an opening. No. Lemon, yes.
Lemon really coming on in the second quarter. She's got 6 now for the game.
Under 2 minutes to go before halftime. Parkman beyond the three-point line. Makes her way toward the middle of the paint and puts one in.
Nice little runner there by Parkman, getting some separation and dropping it right in.
Hughes found a small space and then got a little over-aggressive. It's the 5th BW giveaway, and that's a frustrating one because it was an unforced mistake.
Even with that turnover, though, she's really done a good job all night of attacking the basket, and without that make, I mean, not much you can do, not going to get all of them. So,
Besançon stutters and missed it. Here comes Schill and company as Muskingum tries to quickly get back defensively. Clara Lemon going to the free throw line.
Nice little pick and roll opportunity there between Schill and Lemon. Nice dump off by Schill to the open Lemon as she goes to the line for 2.
John Carroll and Marietta were playing this afternoon. Their game started at 1 o'clock. That was the only other game that was played, or is being played so far, I should say. The other games in the conference are later in the day. Ohio Northern is at Mount Union, Wilmington at Heidelberg, and those games start at 3 o'clock. Capitals playing at Otterbein later tonight. Of course, everybody's still chasing the unbeaten Polar Bears, one of just 9 remaining unbeaten teams left in the country. Lemon hits them both. Marietta currently leads John Carroll 57-54 with a minute and a half left to go in that game. Big lead for the Jackets. In the left corner. Nice baseline drive, and Besançon puts it in.
Looked like Lemon was on the secondary help there, but she got out of the way and results in an easy lay-in for the Muskies.
About a 5.5 second difference between game and shot clock. Clark back to Schill. 10 to fire. Schill almost lost it. Sydney Clark glances up, drives, and is blocked. She got it back and threw up a shot clock violation. Good effort. She stayed with it. 5 seconds left before halftime. Dana Parkman drives all the way to the paint and scores. It counts 39-27 as we head to the locker room for the halftime intermission. Parkman gives Muskingum 2 big points there at the end of the second quarter on a nice drive all the way up the entire length of the floor. But it's still a double-digit lead as BW outplayed Muskingum by 2 points in the second quarter, and they lead by a dozen going into the break. Nice first half for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, really a good start in that first quarter for Baldwin Wallace. Second quarter, not quite how they wanted to get the job done there, only scoring 14 points. But they'll take the 12-point lead going into the half.
Second half action coming up shortly. This is Yellow Jacket basketball on BWYellowJackets.com. Just about to start the second half as Muskingum and Baldwin Wallace have spent some time in the locker room trying to figure out how each team can make the most of what's going forward here. Baldwin Wallace leads the game by 12, and Ryan, it's been a balanced effort from BW. Nobody in double figures, and they're sharing the basketball very well.
Yeah, really a good team performance there in the first half by the Yellow Jackets. You got 3 players with 8 points. You got Casey Hughes with 2, leading the way for the Yellow Jackets. Look for them to continue to attack the hole and be aggressive on both ends of the court as we continue into the second half.
Clara Lemon, 8 points, 8 rebounds. Mckenzie Colombo, only 2 points, but she's got 6 assists already. As we start the second half, Clark misses from right underneath the basket, and BW grabs the rebound. They are now +7 on the rebounding margin. Jackets have hit 4 threes, but they have taken a lot more shots from close to the rim today. It's been a good afternoon in that regard. Hughes, Clark, Colombo, Lemon, and Fecht. Starting 5 out there for BW as Clark wants to start the second half with a 3. And the offensive rebound keeps it on this half of the floor.
BW has the advantage tonight in offensive rebounds. Got a total of 7 compared to just 2 on the other end for the Muskies.
Sydney Clark raises from just outside the elbow, and it's too long. So it's a 12-point game, and Muskingum hasn't played that poorly, but they've got to find a spark because they just haven't done nearly enough. By the way, Marietta knocked off John Carroll 65-58. So the Blue Streaks fall to 2-8 in conference, and Marietta gets to 4-6 with the win. Miscommunication at the top of the arc becomes a takeaway for Colombo. She tried to control her body going up the floor and drew a foul. Mckenzie Colombo going to the free throw line for a couple.
BW shooting 75% on the night. Really one of the top free throw shooting teams in the country this year are the Yellow Jackets.
First one up and good for Colombo. And she doubles her point total from the free throw line just in the opening minute or so of the second half. So it's a 14-point game. And Lemon deflects a pass for Stephanie Clark out of the way in that low post. This is a Muskingum team that historically hasn't been that good, but you've got to give them a lot of credit for the way they've grown the last couple of years. This is one of the better teams that Beth Fox has had in a while. They're more than halfway through the season and above 500. 3-ball bangs home for Olivia Besanson.
Yeah, Muskingum really looking to take that next step in their rise up the conference. Obviously, as you said before, haven't been a great team in the past, but they are around the middle of the pack. Look for them in the next few years as they get a couple more recruiting classes in to climb even higher.
Great play with the exception of Clark not finishing the first time, and she's going to the free throw line after rebounding her miss. Boy, Colombo just lulled Besanson to sleep with that beautiful crossover.
Yeah, really a great night passing the ball and being that facilitator that on the day for Colombo as she has another great dish.
So Sydney Clark looking to get into double figures and be the first person in the game to do so. And she does. 10 for Sydney Clark, who's having a nice afternoon, basically on both ends of the floor. With good active hands defensively. Last one to touch that as it went out of bounds.
We talked about it before the game, but BW's game plan was to get into attack mode and get to the hole and really open up the offense. And in order for them to do that, Colombo and Clark are going to have to have 2 good games attacking the paint, which they have all game.
Moses looking into the paint. Fact, great block shot. Taylor just couldn't get off a clean look.
Her second of the game now for Fact.
BW, one of the leaders in block shots in the Great Lakes region. 2-hand overhead pass. Colombo kind of stuttered on her way to the basket. Clark with 6 to let it go. She gets the screen, feels for it. and banks one in. Excellent play by Clark, who's got 12.
BW not really taking a whole lot of late shot clock opportunities as three is fired up there by Sanson. But there, Clark was effective and got to her spot and hit the jumper.
Clark missed there. Baldwin Wallace by 15. Parkman scurrying up the floor, and she'll go to the free throw line. Muskingum also pretty good from the stripe. But they have definitely been more prone to shoot from beyond the arc this season. Still shooting the free throws at a 71% clip. Parkman's first shot up, no good.
Yeah, that first miss of the line. Through this first half of play as we're around the 7-minute mark here in the third quarter. Second one's no good as well, but really close to 33 pointers a game on the year for the Muskies. Not like them today.
So Parkman misses them both, and Colombo has to reset offensively. There are basically 4 weeks left in the regular season. Lemon on a nice give and go. 47-30. Baldwin Wallace way out front.
Yeah, they've gone to that high pick and roll 2 or 3 times now between her and Warmeldorf, and effective on pretty much every single time they go to it.
The Sanson scoops and scores. Each team will have 8 regular season games left before they would find out if and where they'd play in the OAC tournament. There's a very high probability, as Parkman gets called for reaching in, very high probability that they will both be in the tournament. It would take something catastrophic for either of these two teams, honestly, to get left out. But that being said, right now both are in positions to host first-round games, and it's not something that Muskingum in particular is used to. Got a lot to play for. Baldwin Wallace by 15, middle of the third quarter. Lemon, nice job spinning around Stocker, banking it in.
Nice little drop step there by Lemon, going into the middle of the paint and hitting it right around for a nice lay-in.
Muskingum must feel like they're running on a treadmill, because every time they start getting something to go their way, BW answers quickly and they just can't close the gap. Now it's 17. Colombo is open for 3. Just a little short. Still, the 17 points is the largest lead of the game for Baldwin Wallace. Gossett nearly traveled. Kept that pivot foot and gave it back to the top. Gossett for 3 this time, and she buries one purely.
When they get hot, Muskingum is dangerous from 3, as we talked about. One of the top 3-point teams as far as shots taken per game, but field goal percentage, not always the best from out there, but when they get hot, they can be dangerous.
The Yellow Jackets have the luxury of being able to be patient on offense. Lemon with 2 more. Clara Lemon with 14, fed by Sydney Clark.
BW really looking to take advantage of that mismatch in the post. Muskingum doesn't really have a whole lot of height there, as a 3 is off the mark by Stocker there. But as we talked about in the pregame, rebounding isn't exactly Muskingum's forte, and they're definitely taking advantage of that in the low post with Warmeldorf and Lemon.
A whole slew of substitutions. It's Colombo, Warmeldorf, Smith, Riley Schill, and Sydney Clark now for Baldwin Wallace. Mallory Taylor is out there. Colombo into a little bit of trouble. Clark grabbed a ball that was actually not intended for her. With 6 to shoot, Clark lets it go. Off to the left. Baldwin Wallace shooting just under the 45% mark. They've got a 17-point lead. Taylor blocked from behind. Clark wouldn't give up on the play.
Nice play to recover there by Clark. got beat at first, but never gave up and came right back over the top for the nice swat.
Good team effort defensively there after somebody lost an assignment. Taylor and one. Well, your gut instinct after Taylor pump faked was thinking that maybe she should have put it up the first time.
Yeah.
But she maintained good body control, and she's got 11 points with a chance for 12. And she has it. Although admittedly, I think the scoreboard was incorrect. Pretty sure it's 51-38. It was just 51-35. She hit the basket. We'll have to keep our eye on that. I'm fairly confident that Muskingum is short a point on the scoreboard at the moment.
Looks like Alex Starr checked in on that last possession as well for the Yellow Jackets.
That one rolled off, but a couple of free throws coming. Late third quarter in BW, because they had such an early big lead, basically been able to just put the game on cruise control and try and match Muskingum blow for blow. .52 for BW. I'm still not convinced that Muskingum is 37 points. The second one is up and good as well. We'll keep our eye on that and see. Anyways, BW with a substantial lead. Well, too many mistakes for Baldwin Wallace underneath the basket defensively.
Yeah, nice feed there by Smith to Clark. Defender came down to help on the drive there and left Clark wide open for the easy opportunity, and she'll go to the line for one more.
Am I missing something? Didn't Taylor hit the layup and then hit the free throw? Should have been a three-point play.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that Muskingum is short a point on the scoreboard. We'll keep our eye on that as best we can. But for now, it's 53-39. Riley Schill raises and misses. Good offensive rebound, and Bentler is fouled on the way back up.
Nice play there by Bentler. Usually more of a three-point shooter for the Yellow Jackets, but she can work down low a little bit, and she does there. Gets the nice offensive rebound. She'll go to the line for two.
Tiffany Bentler is kind of becoming a key player coming off the bench. She's played in every game this season. She'll usually get in there about 15 minutes a game. It's a couple free throws, give her 2 points. 55-39.
Yeah, Bentler, Marshall, and Schill, that second unit for the Yellow Jackets, really coming on strong as freshmen. Really giving them some nice support and depth off the bench.
That was just a bad pass by Carson, coming hard into the paint. Baldwin Wallace men's coaches, Tom Heil and Brian Schmidt, are both standing across the way. This is a doubleheader this afternoon, so the men will take the floor scheduled for 4 o'clock, and at this point, it seems pretty likely to start on time. We'll let you know if that time gets adjusted, though. Nice athletic play by Smith, keeping that alive. A chance for Alex Starr, as you mentioned. She's off the bench first time today. Megan Schubert as well. 7 on the clock. Bentler had to, and she got fouled. 10 fouls in the first 7.5 minutes of the third quarter. It's been a slow third period here at home.
Nice shot by Bentler there late in the shot clock. Just getting something off and drawing the foul. 2 points here, opportunity.
So she's going back to the free throw line after hitting a couple a minute ago. She's already got one, with one more coming. Hallie Stocker, the junior, back on the floor. And Bentler's a perfect 4 for 4 from the stripe. BW way out front, 57-39. Parkman dances and missed it. Ball hit perfectly between the rim and the backboard. Katie Smith along the baseline. Her runner no good. One and done for BW as Muskingum quickly races the other way. Transition triple off to the left. Clark the offensive rebound, and her putback didn't go. Schubert did not box out. And Muskingum gets a third opportunity. This three is put from dead on and in for Caitlin Smith.
Muskingum really starting to push that three ball now as they're down 15. Having to battle back into this one, trying to make up that ground with some three balls.
First three-pointer for Caitlin Smith this afternoon as Megan Schubert's left-hander is off to the left. Final minute and change of the third quarter. It was well defended by Smith, but a better offensive play results in two more for Caitlin Smith. Timeout on the floor, and we'll take it with him. BW with a 13-point lead on BWYellowJackets.com. Jackets lead the game by 13 points. Late third quarter after a quick timeout was called for by Sherry Harrer's group. They've got things going back in the right direction again. Muskingum is actually +1 in the scoring column here in quarter number 3. 4 seconds to let it go for number 4. And Clark can't capitalize. Ball pinballed around between several Muskies. Here comes Caitlin Smith. Three ball from Stocker, up and good. And Muskingum is starting to heat up a little bit.
This is where they can get dangerous now. Only a 10-point lead, and them starting to hit their three-pointers. Really watch out. BW needs to do a better job on defense.
Megan Schubert uncontested on the putback, missed it short. And a foul at the top of the arc after Riley Schill got the basketball back. Mallory Taylor paces Muskingum with 12. Clara Lemon's got 14 and 10, a double-double for her this afternoon. Riley Schill going to the free throw line as part of a bonus opportunity. 4 points, a rebound, and an assist for her. And she hits the free throw. BW has only missed one free throw as a team. They are 14 for 15 here this afternoon. Second one counts for Schill as well. And this terrific free throw shooting for the Yellow Jackets is coming through in the clutch when they need it.
Yeah, and even going back in their last game against John Carroll, only missed one free throw out of, I think, 22 attempts. So really a good performance these last two games from the line for the Yellow Jackets.
Shot clock is off in the waning seconds of the third quarter. Muskingum is clearly waiting for the last second shot. Caitlin Smith against Hannah Fecht. She goes through the left lane and is fouled on the floor.
Yeah.
That's the 5th on BW, so she'll the way. And that knocked Caitlin Smith off balance.
Smith looks a little slow to get back up now, and she's holding her wrist and possibly a little knee-to-knee contact there from Hughes.
So Caitlin Smith with bonus free throws. The first one's good. Ryan, you mentioned in the pregame you wanted to see how well BW protected the basketball today. After a 20-turnover performance on Wednesday, only 5 turnovers in the first 3 quarters here today.
Yeah, and really a good job coming off that last game. It was their second worst outing as far as turnovers were concerned, doing a good job as Clark almost hits that last second shot. But they're really doing a good job of taking care of the basketball, sharing. They got 12 assists on the game compared to just 2 for Muskingum, so really winning that battle.
3 in the books. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after this timeout on BWYellowJackets.com. Well, Baldwin Wallace had to really earn their points in the third quarter, connecting on only 4 of 17 third quarter shots, but they were a perfect 12 for 12 from the free throw line. And because that's the case, it is still a 10-point game as we start the fourth period. Alongside Ryan Swingle, I'm Brendan Gulick. BW is looking for their third consecutive win at home after dropping 3 in a row, following an 11-0 start to the season. Clara Lemon is hit on the baseline, and she initiated the contact.
Yeah.
It's an offensive foul.
Clear charge there by Lemon. Really just ran her over in the paint. Not a whole lot to argue on that one.
Lemon has 14 to lead all scorers. It's been a nice afternoon for her.
Definitely.
Parkman at the top of the floor. That one was off of Parkman's knee, out of bounds.
That'll be the 11th turnover for the Muskies. Not their worst performance as far as turnovers go, but certainly something they'd like to improve on going forward.
Baldwin Wallace has played a nice game here this afternoon. Not perfect, but they certainly have looked good as they make a rare mistake on that turnover, just their 6th giveaway. BW is basically winning every statistical category.
Yeah.
They were +9 on the glass after 3 quarters. They've got 10 more assists and 5 fewer turnovers. Muskingum is shooting the ball at a slightly higher percentage, but they've taken 8 less shots, and BW's numbers and volume have been good. Another nice basket by Caitlin Smith. I mentioned Clara Lemon's got 14. She also has a double-double with 10 rebounds. And Lemon's going to go to the free throw line here.
Really a great performance today from Clara Lemon. Doing pretty much anything she wants down there in the low post, especially when number 43, Stephanie Clark, isn't out there. Really one of the few post presence that Muskingum has to counter the height of Lemon.
The 59-51 score represents an 8-point difference. It's the first time that Muskingum has trailed by single digits since they were down in the first quarter. Late first quarter, they were down 21-13. And since then, it's been at least a 10-point margin the whole way. We'll go to a 9 here as Lemon hits 1 of 2.
And with the volume that Muskingum shoots the 3-ball with, this isn't a comfortable lead for the Yellow Jackets by any means.
Well, they definitely need to play a solid last 8.5 minutes to close out a win. But Sanson fouled in the paint.
Really beat Casey Hughes on that cut. Really got her going one way, went back through the paint and wide open for the layup there. But nice foul to prevent the easy 2.
All right, 3rd on Lemon. And it puts a little bit of pressure on Muskingum to convert on their free throws. It's usually a Muskingum team that does pretty well in that regard. And only 1 out of 2 will count there because
they're on the lane violation for the Muskies.
Baldwin Wallace leads by 8 at home. This is the last time they'll play Muskingum in the regular season. Who knows if they'd see him in the OAC tournament. Jackets are trying to go to 7-3 in conference play. That would certainly be an impressive mark. But they know they're capable of even more. 5 to shoot for Colombo. Gets the screen, pulls up, and missed it. Offensive. Way to stick with it on the offensive end for BW.
Not the best late shot clock opportunity there as Parkman goes right in and lays one in. Not the best opportunity there on the original shot by Colombo, but way to stick with the offensive board and get it out to Casey Hughes for the nice 3-pointer.
Sanson and Parkman both have 10 as Lemon lays one in. 12 points for Mallory Taylor. Those are really the 3 leaders for Muskingum here this afternoon. Caitlin Smith has 9 as well. These teams are trading buckets back and forth at a much quicker pace now. You got to remember, BW still wants to be aggressive, but they can use that clock as a friend.
Yeah, and with Stephanie Clark off the court for the Muskies. Look for them to get the ball down low to Lemon, but looks like we'll stay here.
Hughes dribbled it off of her knee, but it deflected off of Muskie out of bounds. Riley Schill back in for Casey Hughes. 14 on the shot clock as BW inbounds underneath their own basket. And Effect leaves the floor. It's Lemon, Smith, Schill, Clark, and Colombo now. 5 to let it go. Sydney Clark raises and scores.
When she gets to that spot right there on the elbow, going left or right, she can hit that shot consistently all the time, and that's a spot that she really likes on the floor.
Clark has 14 as Parkman misfires 2 flat. Riley Schill sprinting up the court. Stripped out of her hands by Besançon. It stays with BW. That was terrific transition basketball. Boy, Riley Schill just shot out of a cannon there and basically beat everybody up the floor.
Nice athletic guard out of Elyria Catholic. Riley Schill really cementing herself as that backup point guard for the Yellow Jackets, really having a great year so far.
Colombo fakes left, brings it back up top. Lemon with a game-high 17. Katie Smith has to hurry. That one was way off the mark. No problem for Muskingum to bring that one back in. And it stays down on the Muskingum side of things. Clara Lemon's career high is 25, and 4 different times in her career she's had 13 rebounds. So she is flirting with a career day, but not quite yet.
Nonetheless, a solid performance, shooting 70%, or just under 70% from the floor. Actually, just at 70%.
Yeah, it's like 7 to 10, right?
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there, but
that's okay.
Yeah, really a great performance, double-double for Lemon.
3 ball from Carson, just to the left. Baldwin Wallace with an 11-point lead and time to spare as Wommeldorf can't capitalize.
In and out there on the nice dish from Schill.
It's a slightly more high-scoring game than the first time these two teams met this season as Riley Schill got in the way. That's her first foul. Hope you'll join us for our post-game coverage as the Yellow Jackets will quickly transition from the women's game to the men's game, but we will hear from head coach Sherry Harrer. She'll join us live for a post-game video chat. She'll come on camera with us, so hope you'll stick around for that. Parkman continues a nice afternoon. She's got a dozen along with Taylor and Besançon. Half the fourth quarter in the books. Clark wants a triple, and she gets all 3 of them.
Clark now 3 for 7 from 3, keeping up that great 40% percentage on the year.
Parkman starting to take over, and she missed that one in front of the rim. Katie Smith protecting the ball on the way up the floor as BW finds Colombo in the corner. Schill for a triple. Missed it off to the right. And the rebound came to a Muskie. Parkman raises from 15. Missed it to the right. You can tell the pace of the game is starting to wear on Muskingum a little bit.
Yeah.
Baldwin Wallace by 12. They can hang on for a win. They'll keep their eye on what's going on elsewhere around the conference this afternoon as Colombo with an acrobatic move. 72-58. Colombo has 6. And Muskingum wants a full timeout. Baldwin Wallace built a 10-point lead in the first quarter, and they basically haven't let up since then. Terrific afternoon on the hard court for the Yellow Jacket ladies. Final 4 minutes of regulation coming your way next on BWYellowJackets.com. About 4 minutes left in regulation this afternoon. It's all Baldwin Wallace after a who has just stepped on Muskingum and not let go here in quarter number 4. They're getting it done on both ends of the floor. And the Muskies trail by 14. They need a miracle here late on the road. Riley Schill might be closing the door on that Muskie miracle.
Beautiful take there by Schill. Really split 2 defenders there to get right to the hole. No post presence underneath for secondary help, and she lays it right in.
Stocker, no good on the 3. After BW hit 20 of 22 free throws on Wednesday, they've had 16 of 18 today. And the three-point defense has been really good. Muskingum averages 28 three balls attempted per game. They've only gotten 12 looks off from behind the stripe today. Four seconds to shoot for Colombo. And her 3-ball rattled away, no good.
The fact that like she was open in the corner there on that last one, would have liked to see maybe one more pass instead of just sizing her up and taking the 3-ball.
That's a step back 3, and it's way off the mark from Besançon. Ohio Northern and Mount Union, that's one of the premier matchups in the conference today. This is definitely an important one too. Mount Union at 4-5, but they're a good 4-5 team. And don't count them out come OAC tournament time. Of course, they are the reigning champions.
Yeah.
Clara Lemon blocked on her turnaround, no good. Anyways, Ohio Northern and Mount Union have basically played back and forth a one-possession game now into the second quarter. Still early, though. It's tied at 19 in Alliance. Final 2 minutes and change as Hannah Feck's step back is pure. Another timeout for the Muskingum Fighting Muskies. Wilmington and Heidelberg are playing this afternoon, and that was another game that was a 3 o'clock tip, so it's recently underway. BW leads by 16 here at home. And the score between Wilmington and Heidelberg is Wilmington 20 and Heidelberg 11 after 1 quarter. Wilmington, of course, second place in the conference. They've got a 1-game lead on the Yellow Jackets. Heidelberg, I know they're 3-6. We saw BW go to Heidelberg earlier this year, and Mckenzie Colombo had a career-high 25, played her tail off. If maybe Heidelberg could help out BW this afternoon, it could pull BW into a potential second-place tie in the OAC. But you know that it all comes down to what you do in the OAC tournament.
Yeah.
And the Yellow Jackets need to take care of business between now and then. It's been a good season as they take another one away. Yellow Jackets are 2 minutes away from going to 14-3. If they were to repeat, let's just say, for example, they have the exact same results in the second half of conference play that they had in the first half, and who knows if that's likely, but just for argument's sake, then they would finish the OAC regular season at 12-6. It's a pretty good mark. You'd probably guarantee yourself a home game in the tournament. I would say BW would definitely be at least one of the top 4 seeds with a 12-6 mark. Whether they'd be 2, 3, or 4. Now running away with the conference, and after having seen pretty much everybody, Ryan, I think they're safe to call them the class of the conference this year.
You could definitely say that, but at the same time, I feel like BW has the potential to really play with anyone in this conference right now, including Ohio Northern.
looking for Lemon, and instead it's a shot clock violation. Anyways, Baldwin Wallace did go to Ada last year as the 4 seed, and they knocked off the top-seeded Polar Bears in the OAC semis. So even if they do have to go on the road at some point, it's not an unheard-of task. Jackets have basically had this one in their grasp from the opening tip. Muskingum's played hard, but they just haven't matched what BW's done today. Colombo fouled as she pulled in the rebound and immediately takes her left hand and starts feeling for her upper lip, maybe her nose, as she kind of got bopped in the face.
Yeah, see, I don't really agree with fouling when you're down 18. I mean, I'm not sure if that foul was intentional or not.
I have to think that was accidental, but I agree with you. There's no reason to do that.
But there are some teams out there that will go the last minute just to basically say we're not going to give up, and I don't know, I just think it's kind of silly to extend the game longer than it has to go.
76-58. For BW having an explosive win at home, it's an awfully quiet Ursprung Gymnasium at the moment. Fans are much more concerned with what's going on over the final 30 seconds than you would really expect. No shot clock violation because Mallory Taylor has possession. Final 30 seconds of the game. And after Sydney Clark's steal, they can just run it out if they want, but Taylor reaches in. Again, Sherry Harrer will join us post. The Yellow Jackets improved to 14-3 on the season. The next game for BW's women is this week at home. They will play the Heidelberg Student Princes. A Wednesday night showdown at 7:30. Pre-game coverage starting about 7:15 on BWYellowJackets.com. Clark dribbling things out, and that's going to do it. This one belongs to the Jackets. 76-58 the final. BW with a tremendous afternoon from start to finish, and Muskingum, who is definitely a better team than we're used to seeing, it just didn't quite have enough in the tank to match BW this afternoon.
Yeah, really a great performance from start to finish for the Yellow Jackets. Got out to that early 10-point lead and didn't look back from there. Scoring contributions from tops from Sydney Clark and Claire Lemon, both 17, had Hannah Feck with 10, and a myriad of other Yellow Jackets contributing across the board.
Remember, we've got the men's game coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Hope you can join us for that just about a half an hour from now. Sherry Harrer joins us next on BWYellowJackets.com. Welcome inside our postgame show on BWYellowJackets.com after a when you basically go 100% from the free throw line, it sort of alleviates a lot of other stress, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you don't want to leave those out there. They're not guarded. So, and we have some pretty good shooters. So luckily we hit them today.
You told me in the pregame that you wanted to be really aggressive and get to the rim. I don't know if that had to do with Muskingum's ability to defend the three-point line or what it might have been in your mind, but it seemed like right from the get-go you had shots within 5 feet all day.
Yeah, I think overall we're probably a little better athletes, and so our advantage is being able to penetrate on them, and ideally we're getting it inside, and if they collapse, being able to kick it.
At 14-3 now, you've really gotten off to a nice start, and you're in the second half of the OAC. It's rematches against teams the rest of the way. I don't want to look too far forward, but you've got Heidelberg coming in, a team you played very well when you went there earlier this year. I'd like to think you probably feel pretty good about where you're at right now.
Well, you know the OAC. There are no easy games in the OAC. And the minute you we found that out when we lost 3 in a row. As soon as you let down a little bit, somebody's going to knock you off. And you're going to bring your A game every time, and the same with Heidelberg.
I know this could be a pretty guard-oriented team at times because of their athleticism. Clara Lemon was spectacular today. 17 points, 11 rebounds. She was 7 of 12 from the field, and she had 3 big offensive rebounds. Her role today, I thought, was really important.
Clara was fabulous, especially on the boards today. She did a good job in our ball screening action. She has great hands, and we were able to find her on the roll.
Big win?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Brendan.
We'll wrap it up next on BWYellowJackets.com. Baldwin Wallace 76, Muskingum 58. The Jackets with an impressive win this afternoon, and they moved to 14-3 in the OAC. Or I should say they moved to 7-3 in conference, but 14-3 overall. Clara Lemon 17-11. Sydney Clark had 17 points on 6 of 15 from the floor, 10 from Hannah Fecht, and 8 from Riley Schill off the bench, while Muskingum had 12 apiece from Mallory Taylor, Olivia Besanson, and Dana Parkman, but BW just too much today.
Yeah, really opened up that first quarter, opened up their lead there to about 10 points in the first few minutes. Then really from there, it was just maintaining that lead and even building on it as they went through the game. Really a great game from Clark and Lemon, and really just a good job of sticking to their game plan like they wanted to attack on both ends of the floor. Did a great job of taking care of the ball coming off of that 20 turnover game on Wednesday night against John Carroll. So really a great game in all facets for the Yellow Jackets.
Baldwin Wallace off and running. They are at no worse than being a third-place team after the day ends across the conference. Our men's contest, as you can see on the floor, is about 25 minutes away until it gets going. We hope you'll stick around and join us for that one, though you'll have to close your window and open up this separate broadcast on BWYellowJackets.com. But if you choose not to join us, we will be back live with you on Wednesday night for our next women's game against Heidelberg. It's a 7:30 tip-off Wednesday night, pregame at 7:15. For Ryan Swingle, I'm Brendan Gulick. Hope to talk to you in about 25 minutes for the men's affair here on BWYellowJackets.com.